Yo, 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 what's up? My name's Anthony Singleton, and this is Dying to Live Presents. So, today's topic is keep doing what you love. Um, and what I mean by love is I don't mean like love for like your family or your best friends, because that love is unwavering. There's no question about that kind of love, right? Your heart tells you what you want, and for the most part, people are pretty reasonable when you're like, "Hey, I'm in love with that person." Like, well, then shoot for the stars, right? They give you all this corny ass advice, but when you say you want to chase your passion and people don't necessarily agree with it, they start to discourage you. So you have to have 20 times more love to get to your goal. It's easy for you to love a child for their whole life. You made that individual. It's hard to love something that might be a decade out, right? You may not be able to see your vision or complete your vision for a decade or two. It's really hard to stay inspired when that's on the table, right? So I really want you to understand that if you're going to dedicate yourself to something, that it should be something that is your passion and something you love. And the reason I bring it up is because I'm super, super close to getting really, really paid to do what I love. And notice I said really, really paid. What I mean by that is I'm close to being a public speaker full time and retaining ownership. Don't get me wrong. I love my job. I love the organizations that I work for and that I work with. But at the end of the day, you only get a percentage of what it is they make, right? They pay you to do a job and you do all this work that you may or may not get paid for because you love it, which is not a big deal. But let me be clear. What I do want to change is control. I want to have control over all the topics that I bring up. I want to be able to make money for all the work that I do, because there's no way I can continue to keep moving forward unless I'm making money to put myself in a position to be successful as a public speaker, correct? I mean, that makes sense to you, right? The other thing too is sometimes the biggest objection when you're trying to start a business, a brand, or whatever it is, my biggest objection is the how. How the hell did I get here? How the hell am I going to make it? Well, the answer to you is I don't freaking know. I just kept working, bro. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I got to a place to where I'm close enough to my goal to touch it and taste it. It just kind of happens. I mean, from the second I had my back surgery, the minute that I woke up, I knew I had to do something, and I knew that I had the gift of gab, and I wanted to use that gift to help other people, right? And don't get me wrong. I've failed so many times, right? If you only focus on the how, right? You're going to be afraid to move. I think when it comes down to it, there's nothing but moving forward. I have failed so many times, and I think it's so necessary to do so. Failure is part of why I think I'm successful. You have to be willing to fail forward. I say this all the time on other videos, right? You can sit around and wait to die and fail there, or you can run forward, maybe fall on your face, but at least you learn something. And that's why I think failure is necessary. Also, not every opportunity is a great fit. I mean, the one failure, the biggest failure I've had at this public speaking thing is the very reason I'm actually having a public speaking event. It pushed me over that edge to say, you know what, F it. I'm not waiting anymore. I ain't waiting for anybody, right? And that was TED Talks turning me down. I mean, I don't know why they did. I didn't even think about it. The first thing I thought of when they said no TED Talks, I was like, cool, we'll do Fred Talks then, right? Literally that same day. I'm not tripping. That failure prompted me to see my vision in a different way, find a different route besides the traditional route to get there. And right now, when I ask around, no one in our city has ever seen a hip hop style party public speaking event, right? No one in our city is really doing it. And I've always wanted to be the person to put my city on, but I thought I was going to do it with music or something else. And it turns out that I'm going to be able to put my city on doing this public speaking thing. And I'm super proud of that. And that failure was necessary. The other thing too is that you got to learn. Sometimes you have to fail to learn, right? I mean, there's been plenty of occasions where, I thought I was there. That was the moment, or I've sat back and I've seen people speak and they weren't as good as me. And I'm wondering, how do I get there? I was so full of hate and jealousy that I couldn't see the forest from the trees, and I needed to fail because I wasn't ready. I was too edgy. Sometimes I said things that I shouldn't say. I wasn't aware of the things. I wasn't aware of the things that you might be pissed at me about, right? I wasn't aware of my audience. And sometimes I can come off crazy. I have the personality where you either like me or you hate me. So I need to work on that, right? It didn't matter how much public speaking I did. The powers that be, if you believe in God or whatever it is, the powers that be were not going to let me be the public speaker I wanted to be until I failed a little bit more. I had to fail forward. And now, look, I think I'm pretty good at this thing. In fact, let me tell you something. I didn't even know that I was meant to be a public speaker until I had trained 200 or 300 people in Bridges Out of Poverty last summer. People would start crying and stuff, and I would be like, wow. I got something here. That's crazy. It took me a long time. And also I needed to fail because I didn't understand my value, right? I needed to get in front of many people that kept saying the same thing. Hey, you got something here, Ant. Hey, you got something here. Man, you moved me. Man, the stuff you said blew my mind. I needed to hear that more because I didn't believe in myself. And without the failure, without the extra work, I don't think that I'd be where I'm at. I mean, it's been a decade, and it went by kind of fast. There was a lot of ups and downs, but now I'm on the brink of controlling ownership and doing what I want to do anyway. And so I think that's a beautiful thing. Now, the thing you got to focus on is the why, right? If anything, you got to focus on the why. Why do you want to do what you do? Why is it that you're willing to push everything forward, everything aside, and just keep moving to get there? Well, it's got to be something you love. And also, let me add to that. When you say, why am I doing this? It's also okay to ask yourself, why the hell not? Look, I was born to do this. And so now I look at it like, man, if you're not fulfilled in what you do, not saying that I'm not, because I love helping people, but I want to cut checks, right? If you're not fulfilled in what you do, even if you make a ton of money, does it matter? Because money isn't the only value in stuff. You know what I mean? Being fulfilled and helping people. I'll take way less money to be fulfilled and do something that I don't hate. And I think that you should have the same thought process. And the other reason why you have to do something you love is because, for me, it took a decade to get here. And if I didn't love what I'm doing, if I didn't love people, I wouldn't have been able to see my dreams to completion. It just wouldn't have happened. Because sometimes when you're on a hustle, or you're visualizing success, you can't always share it with other people, nor do you know how you're going to get there. And so you have to be able to stay inspired during that in-between process, right? Sometimes success is like brothers that are in that in-between phase with their hair, right? It's just long enough to almost be braided, but too short to be braided. So now it's like 2 months of wearing a hat. But that after that 2 months, then braids are going to look fresh. Success is like that too. Sometimes you got that in-between hair phase, brothers. You know what I'm talking about, right? But you got to keep pushing. So more into the why. More on the why of what I do. Because I freaking love it. Duh. That's the bottom line. For me, public service is my passion. It's not something I do for a job. I do it as a way of life. Dying to Live Gardens. Dying to Live YouTube channel. Dying to Live Facebook. Dying to live this, that, because I love helping people. The only thing that's going to change is instead of somebody else's organization on the top of a workshop or a flyer, it's going to be all mine. That's the only difference. I love it. Oh, also, love is important because if people feel emotionally connected to your idea, your business model, or you, then that's when you have them on the hook. That's when people want to invest their time in you. That's what makes somebody want to push play. Today's a little bit longer video, right? But I believe that somebody's going to watch it. And that's because I know what I have. I know what my gift is. And you need to know what yours is too as well. You got to stay focused. Staying focused when you know the why. It's easy for you to stay focused. Bottom line. All right? And I also want you to know the why holds much more potential than anything else. Okay? How has no value. How doesn't motivate you. But love can. When you're passionate about something, that can't slip through your fingers, right? Think about like NFL players and basketball players and how many years they dedicate to their craft before they get drafted. In some cases, you got guys playing ball all the way up through elementary school, middle school, high school, college, then NFL. They dedicated their whole lives to that. And you expect me to sit here and tell you that it's going to be easy and that you're going to get there in one shot and it's going to be quick? No, it's not the way it works. And in closing, if you know the why, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters if you know what you're doing it for. Nothing. And I mean, that's my reflection. That's my take on all this. You know, recap. Forget the how and ask yourself why. And if that doesn't make sense, then ask yourself why the hell not. Because I am blessed enough to be in a position to do this every single day for the rest of my life. And I'm not going to stop, and I hope you don't either. So I thank you for those that have stuck with me. I thank you for the people that are, accepting invites to the business page. There's been nothing but love, and I can't wait till September 14th to share my knowledge with you, my perspective, and the years I've been traveling on the road and doing whatever I need to do to be great. Because at the end of the day, there is no me without you, and vice versa, right? There's a reason why I wanted to have a homecoming. There's a reason why I wanted to bring it back to my city, because I feel like this is home, and no matter how far I go, I want to be able to come back and be loved and received by the people that I love as well. So you guys have a happy rest of your weekend. Love, compassion, and respect. And if you have any questions, any more themes before I pick one, or you have a topic for a daily video or a class, or just any random questions about civil rights, human rights, any of that, get at me at dyingtolivenorthwest@gmail.com. Hit me on my Facebook, my Facebook Messenger or Instagram. Peace.